Is this it? Can you hear me now? Now I look all crazy. But it's all right. We can look crazy. No sound. Thank you, Miss Robin. You guys hear me now? I'm going to start back up until you can't hear me. Can you hear me? Still no audio? I have audio. I look at audio now, but hello, hello? Okay. You got it now. It took a while for me to kick it back in. I guess it takes a little while. It's delayed. So you got it now. Sorry about that. We will start back over. All right. The first thing I said, I'll let you guys in on it. Epstein files are 17 days away. December 19th. Keep that on your calendar. December 19th is the 30 days that are up. The only thing that I don't know exactly how they're going to release these things. Now, I don't know if they're going to be heavily redacted and sent to everybody, or if it's going to be sent to the House and Senate, and then they're going to be sent, then they look at it and give it to us. But from where they made it sound, they were going to redact them like heavily and give them to everybody, like release them to the public. We'll see. But December 19th, keep that on your calendar, and we'll see. Nah. So you got me now. Good. I hope you got me, DJ. So that is something we can keep on our calendar. And then I was moving on to, I read an article today that had Dan Bongino, soon after coming into office, knew that Donald Trump was in these files heavily. And that's when you started to see, after a while, they were ordered to redact Trump from it from the get-go. Trump knew he was in these files, 100%. He knew way back when. I guarantee you he was shocked that Biden didn't intercept, just like he would have done something. Biden was following the law and let, his DOJ handle it. Merrick Garland was doing his thing. But Merrick Garland, I know you're not supposed to be going for vendettas and shit like that. I get it. But these were children that were raped. That should have been your first priority. Not your second or third or fourth or fifth or 20th or none of that. It should have been your first. And it turns out it was not even on your radar. I mean, I know you got Ghislaine Maxwell, but you knew there was way many more than that. You knew it. Your department knew it. And you did nothing. Like I said, I lied into everybody's ass. Republican, independent, I don't care who you are. Wrong is wrong, right is right. You knew what was in those documents. To this day, you know what's in those documents, and you know many of them should be behind bars. And you chose not to. Something shady about that. Something was shady about the FBI, the CIA, and all that. Not CIA, they weren't in it, but FBI, DOJ. There's something shady with all y'all, regardless of whether you was Democrat or Republican. Democrats, Republicans, all of you guys should have been on this whole team with the Epstein shit. It should have never went as long as it did. Never. Right? If you knew any of this information, even under Obama, if you knew this information, the people who working under him as well, you guys should have been on this shit. It shouldn't be 30 fucking years later that we're sitting here with these women finally getting justice to some degree, just being the fact that they were telling the truth. You knew they were telling the truth from the documentation that was there because he was arrested and he was charged with something, even though your people knocked it down to nothing. Allowing this man to continue doing what he was doing while he was supposedly incarcerated. You just visualize this man still raping kids with an ankle bracelet. What do you think that did to children's minds, those young girls' minds? When they saw that this man got arrested for it, he got to go to jail on the weekend, and he raping them right in front of them with the monitor on his fucking leg. And you guys waited. Fucking sick. All of you. Now, Dan Bongino knew when he came in. Because you got to understand, these people spent all this time. Dan Bongino made his millions. He wasn't nobody prior to. He was doing stuff for the government and stuff like that. But he was retired from that. He wasn't no millionaire or making millions of dollars doing that. He was making $1 million, whatever, or more, with all this like Russian and MAGA grifting and all that shit like that. And he was on his show always talking about, when I get in, I'm going to be able to do this and that, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with Kaka Cash Patel. And as soon as they got in, you didn't think they didn't look at those documents. They've been talking about it forever. Now they got access to them. Got access to them, and they ain't looked at them. I can sell you a river that boats can actually go underwater and stay there. Not submarines, just regular boats, and humans can walk underwater and live. Because there's no way in hell you believe that these two sycophants, grifters, pieces of shit humans, Kaka Cash Patel and Big Head Bongino, you're going to tell me they did not go in the FBI with clearance to look at all these files? They didn't go peek? Of course they did. They've been knowing since day one. The only person that has any kind of morality, I would say, to some degree, and I don't really believe it is there, but the one who stopped being in the front. I don't know if you remember when Dan Bongino and Cash Patel were on like some Fox show, and they were asking them about these files. And they had to begrudgingly tell them, we looked at it, nothing's there. But you could look at Dan Bongino, he looked fucking sick. The same dude was always angry and turning red and shit. And was, This dude was neutered. He was sitting there like he had no testicles, just sitting there like, whimpering and shit, like they cut him. That's what he was doing, just sitting in the corner. Yeah, ain't nothing in him. And then soon after what? He couldn't do his job no more. They brought in some white dude to do his job while he still worked in the same department. Why wouldn't you just fire him if he ain't gonna do his job? You gave him an assistant. What would you give him an assistant to do his job for? He was whining though. Remember, he was like, well, Cash Patel works as hard as he can. He gets there early in the morning. I get there a little bit later. I don't even get to see my wife, blah, blah, blah. A 9 to 5, bitch, that's where you're supposed to go. And when you're working for the government and you're of service, you may work a 12-hour day. But you're supposed to be there for the people. Service. See, you guys don't know nothing about service, really, do you? You're doing this shit. And look at Cash Patel out there, flying around, doing all kinds of shit, going to meet his girlfriend with the jets. He's supposed to have money already. Take your own plane and just bring your people with you. But no, he was going off on Christopher Wray, just doing it, going to locations that he had to go to do work. What does he need to fly that for, to go golfing or go whatever? And here he is, going to games and shit, going to concerts and shit, using our plane and spending our millions of dollars to go see his girlfriend. And he was bitching at Christopher Wray all on his show, talking about Christopher Wray wasn't doing this, wasn't doing that. And he's doing way worse than Christopher Wray. This fool literally had to say some shit like, I can't go home. I'm like, what? You went home, but you took the plane to get to this location. He said, okay, that's your home. All right, let me give you that. All right, what about the one you went to New York? You got a home there? Nope. Then why'd you go to New York to a UFC or MMA game, fight or whatever, using our plane to get there? Well, you guys mandated. Okay, then I get you. You say they mandated that? Then why was you going off on Christopher Wray for doing it? You didn't know they mandated it, or did you not care and you were grifting your people to get them pissed off about something that you knew the government allowed? Because you made it seem like it was criminal with Christopher Wray, but with you, it's mandated. So why'd you make millions of dollars pissing off these MAGAs about Christopher Wray? Because you're a piece of shit human and you do whatever you can to get money and power. You don't care about nobody but yourself and that little cockeyed eye of yours. And Bongino, he has a little guilt. That's why he kind of fell into the pocket of, you don't see him do shit. He don't come out and do no interviews. We don't even know if the dude alive or dead. Got to send up a flare to find this dude. Collecting money from us, but we ain't doing no work. Some other dude took his space, and yet though he still holds the title. Could it be that he knows something about Donald Trump? The truth? and they're trying to pacify him because he's the weakest link. He's not as evil as you guys are, but he got that evilness in him. Could it be? We don't know. But it's kind of weird. The loudmouth, big head dude ain't saying shit. Not a word, just hidden. And that ain't his style. His style is to be all up in front, trying to show you he still got muscles at 112 years old. Exactly. But he ain't got that shit no more. Now he's just sitting there in a corner doing nothing, whimpering. And all of you are not immune. If anything, he's smart because he was in the military at one point. I guess he was in the military. I can't take that back. I think he was. I'm not 100% sure. I know he worked in the government. But he must know the laws in which his ass can go to jail being a part of this shit. So he's staying back, keeping his hands clean as much as possible, while cockeyed Kash Patel's all in on it because he got that little man disease. Got to pretend like he's strong. He's short, weak, and can't see out of one eye. That dude. And if he can see, he's looking in two different directions. I said what I said. So we got Dan Bongino being a part of this FBI stuff, covering up for Donald Trump. Pretty much from day one, they was blackening out Donald Trump's name. When they got to find out it was a lot in this damn thing, that's when Pam Bondi was alerted by FBI, and FBI, Pam Bondi, rather, and DOJ went and told Donald Trump. And that's where we have that information. So that's what I found out today about Don Bongino in an article. All right. Then we got Pete Hegseth. Yeah, Demetrius. Dan Bongino knows the truth. That's why he's in hiding, yo. I mean, think about it. He was all, I mean, what else? I just want to know what else would put Dan Bongino, always wanted to be in front of the camera, always wanted to be in front of the camera, screaming and yelling about, whatever it was. And it was never really factual. It was all just made up MAGA shit. Right? But you haven't heard, because they're in the office, you haven't heard them talk about any of this shit anymore. That void is gone where you got these two bringing up shit. But again, those two are illegitimate, not qualified for the positions in which they're in. And right now, cockeyed Kash Patel is on the chopping block. And not necessarily with Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has an agenda. It's hard to find sycophants that will do exactly what he wants to do. And therefore, because they are that loyal to him, he doesn't have to have any strife and fire people and go. They make it easy for him to do illegal shit because they think he's going to protect them. It's hard for him to replace him. Remember when Donald Trump was the first time he was the president, people were getting fired left and right because these people were really telling him, no, that's against the law. You can't do that. No, that's against the law. You can't do that. No, you can't do that. It's against the law. No, we can't shoot nobody. That's against the law. Fire, 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 fire. He's trying to fire his way to yes men. And that's exactly what he got. A bunch of yes men. It's not easy to get these yes men. So they can do anything and everything. He's going to have their back. Why? Because the next time he says something, he don't have to fight. He doesn't have to get them to like him again or whatever the hell they got to do. He needs them to be loyal. And you can't have people that's as loyal as those two. I don't know about Dan Bongino now, but at the time, that those two and the rest of these sycophants around them, if you don't have them around you, who you going to have run it? They don't want any real FBI men and women. They don't want any real DOJ people who know what the hell they're doing and that they are loyal to the Constitution and not to Donald Trump. All these rest of these people are loyal to Donald Trump. So he's weeded out those people. How hard is it going to be for him to find people to replace that are loyal to him and not the Constitution? Hard. That's why Donald Trump allows these things to happen. That's why the military and the media and all that is like, they're on the chopping block. No, they really aren't. They really aren't. Because he can't find somebody to do his bidding that easy. He's got to get, Stephen Miller to find another sycophant. He's got to go and find other people to find these sycophants to be able to get this plan of Project 2025 continued down the road. It's been stifled by all Donald Trump's, pedophilia possibilities and killing people for no damn reason possibilities. All that shit's blowing up, and it's trying his best to stop you guys from talking about the Epstein files. It's crazy how this media frenzy they put out there, right? Now we're dealing with what I call the show today. A title basically is about. I'm not giving him the respect of saying his whole name, calling him of this country at this moment. Pete and Don are cowards. Why do I call them cowards? They're throwing the admiral under the bus for some shit they did. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that today. I told you yesterday they were going to do it, and that they kind of semi did it with that tweet or whatever it was, truth that Pete Hegseth put out. He's a snake in the grass, dude. I mean, this man, remember when the first strike that we got to see when he was on Signalgate, the Signal app that disappears, and that media person was on it, and you got to see how amped and excited this dude was. You know what I'm saying? He was in it 100%. He was telling everybody. He even told his family members and shit. He sent them all out. We got this kind of bullets, these bombs. We're going to do this. We're going to load it at 703. We're going to do it 705. This man went through it all super excited. He gets a joy out of killing people. This is a sick man. He gets a joy out of murdering people, y'all. It ain't no noble, like trying to protect America in it. It is literally pure evil. There is no patriotism. He ain't protecting America for shit. America is not in threat of Venezuela. There is no war. There is nothing that we can't handle. None of that shit. And I'm going to prove some of that tonight based off of his first presidency. You're going to understand that this shit was all in the plans. There never was anything. America has drummed up this shit to fit what Donald Trump wanted to do in the first presidency. Remember, you had Mark Esper talking about he wanted to shoot people in the legs and things of that nature. And Donald Trump wanted that. He said, just in the legs. You ain't got to kill him in the legs type of thing. He denied he ever said that. Turns out he said it. There was more he asked of the military back then, and they told him no. It was illegal. So Donald Trump knew the shit he's doing now, all illegal. Knew it. Now they're playing dumb. Like they don't, what? I didn't know nothing about it. Oh, really? We got a little bit of something to tell you that they did know about it. Now, they said that I'm gonna take you down a path of how this shit kind of like was a gateway. Like you would say a gateway drug. Their gateway drug is power. And I want to tell you, like, starting out with a little Mary Jane, right? They start out with a little something that gets you high. That was to fuck with brown people. But see, you got to understand the pathway to get to where you can blow up boats and call a quote unquote war. You got to start out with getting the people angry about these people, these Venezuelans. So you started making a big issue. Remember, this has been a year, almost a year now. Where's the big hype about Tren de Aragua? For months, we really ain't heard nothing about Tren de Aragua until they getting in trouble now with blowing up the boats. Like, well, they were Tren de Aragua, people on the boats and blah, 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 blah. Before that, where did they get this Tren de Aragua shit? That's when they were trying to demonize Latin people to get them out of the country. They started that whole thing and threw people in a jail in another country that wasn't Venezuela, but it was Venezuelan people, that they were part of Tren de Aragua. And they got a guy who's a hairstylist, a makeup artist or some shit. They got another dude that was nowhere near in this gang, had nothing to do with this gang. Most of these people had never committed a crime. There was 60 Minutes had done a thing where it was only like 10 or 12% of these people had ever committed a crime. And most of those were misdemeanors. So you're looking at 75 to 80% of these people in jails for I don't know how many fucking months, never committed a fucking crime. But they had to demonize what group? Well, we got to get to Venezuela so that we can be able to start bombing them and probably take their oil is what their focus is. Take power from their oil. right? It's probably what it is, right? Now let's get to the drug part. That's gonna be, the drug. So they go from Venezuelan people, you get you to hate them. And I want you, before we even go there, I want you guys to understand something. Remember the war on drugs, Ronald Reagan and his wife and everything like that, you know what I'm saying? Nancy Reagan, that war on drugs they had. Oh, and then after that, we had the war on drugs later with, we started off with Nixon, right? You got Reagan. They still going with this war on drug shit. You got Bill Clinton, the Clintons, war on drug shit, right? Right? And Biden and a few other black people actually voted for, if you don't want to believe it or not. A few of our black leaders voted for that particular crime bill that everybody's pissed off for Biden about. A lot of black people voted for that. They wanted it because they thought it was one thing and turned out to be another. Don't know why they did that, but they did. But what was all those things from Nixon to Clinton, right? What was all those things? So Reagan and all this, what were they all? What were those drugs? The war on drugs was war on black people, because those are the people that affected like 99.9% of the time. Yeah, they demonized black people, but it turns out after all that demonizing of black people, you turn out to find out that white people used the drugs at the same percentage that black people did. They just weren't demonized. Black people were. So the same trick, I told you, Latin people, before you voted for this dipshit orange fuck, I told you that's what this shit was. When you start to see, what did they do to you? The same shit they did. They got you guys saying that you guys are criminals, bringing in your rapists and all this stuff like that. And some of you may be good, demonize you. Now, I'm not going to just hold you Latin people. I want some of you white people to understand. You guys have been the tool that they use to crack everything down. Your fear of brown or black, whether you're racist or not, has gave them a shot to the arm to be able to do this. Because without you guys falling for the bullshit, this shit would have never happened. They're so easily to get you to be fearful of people of color that your complacency, doing nothing, saying nothing, just letting it happen is what happened to black people and people of color. All that shit happened because nobody was standing up for them while our people were dying, like Martin Luther King and others, for you and the rest of us. But for those drug addicts and shit like that, no, you did nothing. You were fearful of them and you sat around and let the shit happen. And that's what they did to black people for so many fucking years, put us in jail like crazy, broke up our families, not mine specifically, but a lot of our men and women, right? And so they know that that formula works. So now their drug of choice was Latin people. And whether or not other people will allow them to do to them what they did to us. You know the crazy part? When white people were going through their ups and downs, and still are, I'm sure, but in Virginia and all those other places, when they had the opioid crisis and the meth and all that shit, you guys just had mental issues. You weren't arrested in droves and called animals, right? But you should have been, correct? It's the same shit as other people been on crack. It's just the same thing. You were drug addicts, going around stealing and robbing from white people in your community. But you weren't thrown in jail. You were asked to be helped. Now, this may hurt that I'm saying this, but it's the fucking truth. If we wake up and realize the black people needed help, they didn't need jail. They were on drugs. Most of them were not selling them. They weren't criminals any more than the white people were criminals doing it. And if they weren't, they needed help because they were on drugs doing it to keep up with the drug habit. The same way you see white people in Virginia and all that shit, and see some kind of grace or God in them somehow, it should have been that same grace for black people, but it wasn't. None whatsoever. So this is why when black people say, listen to us, it's because we done seen this shit from the bird's eye view because we done been through it. Done seen somebody go through it. And we recognize the country we live in. We ain't under no mystical illusion. It's a racist country. If you can't admit that, then you can't see that. Therefore, you're blind to everything we're saying. That's why you keep making mistakes and voting against your own best interest, because you can't see through the lens of how racist, sexist, homophobic this country really fucking is. And while you're in denial, the racist people lead. How do you think they got into office? Because you don't see it. How many times did people say, oh, they're racist, they voted for Trump, they're racist, and then you guys, oh, I don't see no racism, I don't see no racism, I don't see no racism, I ain't racist. And then how the fuck did these racists get in power? You just let them, you open the door to the racists, but you like, I ain't racist, but you racist, you can go in. Because you ain't paying attention to what they're doing. You're blind to what they're doing. You call it, not racism. It's just their opinion. No, it's racism, sexism, homophobia. That's what they thrive on. What the hell you think they're doing? They're doing it again to Latin people. And we screaming at Latin people, white people, other ignorant ass black people like, look, see what the fuck? They're doing the same thing they did to us. They're doing to these Latin people that are immigrants. They're otherizing them. And while they're getting harmed, not all of you, many of you American people are over here. I wonder what's going on over here. While over here, these people are crying. They're sitting right now in places that are dark and damp, smelling like piss. They didn't do shit wrong. These people are going through the process of trying to become an American the absolute correct way. Going to court, being there, doing their justice, paying their bills, paying their taxes. And we Americans just sat back and allowed these racist people to do what they do and act like it ain't racism. It is. So they got these people caged up like wild animals. As we go to sleep in our regular ass bed, feeling good, these people are sleeping on cots and on the floor, was in Alligator Alley and shit like that, with real alligators wandering around. And these people don't care if they lived or died. This is how evil they are. The way they're killing these people in boats when they don't even know who the fuck they are. And our government is sitting there like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. What the fuck you mean maybe it is, maybe it isn't? You know this shit's illegal. They pose no threat to us. They're in the middle of international waters and they're not heading toward America. We are not the security guards for other countries. If they don't want the drugs in their country, then they should be fighting these people, not us. We're sending military equipment, all millions of dollars being spent to go sit in their waters. For what? It ain't coming to us. And after all, what the hell drug are they talking about? Remember, they were talking about fentanyl. That's the drug of choice. That's the way they entered it into this. They mentioned the drugs. They mentioned Tren de Aragua. But Tren de Aragua, their drug of choice is cocaine in that area. They never mentioned cocaine because it ain't scary enough for white people. Because white people, y'all know that cocaine ain't as bad a drug as fentanyl. And you're not going to validate somebody killing somebody over cocaine that don't kill nobody that we know of mostly, right? We got a lot of white people in movies that done did cocaine forever in the movies and stuff like that and life and all that shit. They ain't nobody died from they got high. They did all these other things. Watch The Wolf of Wall Street. You'll see. That was the drug of choice for white people. Remember, they didn't go to jail for that shit. Black people went to jail for crack. White people didn't go to jail too much for cocaine. So it obviously wasn't that big of a deal that rich white people got away with doing that drug. So now all of a sudden that drug is to be demonized. Then you need to go arrest a bunch of white racist people right now, rich people, because you know that's the drug of choice for them. So you should be going to rich neighborhoods, just breaking down doors and snatching up or even killing white people on this drug, because that's what you're worried about being in this country, right? You ain't going to do that. Why? Because that ain't a fear of yours. That ain't a fear of theirs. Donald Trump just let out one of the biggest drug dealers ever in American history. Done brought fucking hundreds of thousands of tons of these drugs of cocaine. Even said something to the fact that he wants to put a lot of cocaine into the noses of white people in America. This man's trying to kill America through drugs. Happy about it. And Donald Trump talking about, I'm against drugs and I'm going to go against drugs. Then you let the biggest drug dealer that ever sent drugs to America, after this country tried him and put him in jail, you know what this man said? Well, I spoke to people in the country where he's from, and they believe that, Biden, kind of like had it in for him, and it wasn't a fair trial. And I believe him. Say what? You're out here blowing up people in boats that are nowhere near bringing the amount of drugs that this dude brought into America. Not by a long shot. You would have to shoot 400,000 or more fucking boats to match what this man has put into the noses of white people in this fucking country, and you let him out. But you're killing these brown people that are supposed to be bringing drugs from one brown nation or country to another one. Ain't got shit to do with America. You trying to save brown people from dying from getting drugs from brown people? You don't give a fuck about brown people. That's some bullshit. You give a fuck about oil and money. You can't get me to believe this man's trying to save brown people from getting killed with drugs. Because that's all it is out there, brown people in these particular areas. He cares about brown people enough that he's trying to stop the drugs from coming into their countries? Bullshit. Racist white people that are this powerful only want one thing, and that's money. Those drugs are not going to give them enough money, but their oil will. But how do they get the average person like you to get in on this bullshit that they know is illegal? They got to get you afraid of something. They deal with fear. Like they're selling cocaine. Donald Trump sells a drug called fear. And every time he gives these people a shot to the arm of fear, and they get high off of it. Their fear makes them want to kill. Pete Hegseth is one afraid son of a bitch that he wants to kill people because he's scared of something. We don't know what all his fears are. We know he's alcoholic. But maybe this entire time we've missed something. Maybe there is something evil in white people just needs to be activated. Because what do they want so bad? That they would kill people, brown people, for no fucking reason. They would demonize brown people for no fucking reason. And we sit around and allow them to do the shit they doing. If anybody should be court-martialed, if anybody should be put to death by law, it should be all these racist ass, disrespectful, trying to harm people for no fucking reason other than the color of their skin or the sex they choose to fall in love with. We need to get rid of them because those people will not stop until we're dead. They're trying to kill us. They're killing these brown people. They're killing black people in the streets. They're killing gay people in the streets. They don't want trans people being a part of anything. The enemy in this state are these racist fucks in this country that are trying their damnedest to stop everybody else from having happiness when these people don't have a goddamn care in the world about these racist people. But for some reason, they're fearful of you people. You different people. The ones who aren't like just, all stuck in this idea of woman, man, white power and all that shit like that. If you don't want that, they think of you as an enemy and they do their best to justify unaliving you. Where's the lie? They got a whole plan they've been writing for years. They got the Southern strategy they did to black people. This shit is reciprocal. The cancer in this country are racist white people. If you can't see that, then you blind to this whole thing and you've already bought into this shit and you don't want that shit to go away. Because I'm sick and tired of having to argue with people about logic. Why in the hell are they made these people demonize these Latin people? They ain't did shit to us. But they threaten white men. Why? Because Latin people's numbers in this country will be the majority. That's why they want you white women to have babies. They want you so bad to have babies to procreate that they're talking about giving you thousands of dollars so that somebody can stick cum in you, make you fucking have a baby so that they can build more white fucking soldiers, I guess. It is sickening that they're trying to, and if you guys don't do it, I guarantee you they're going to start putting sperm in petri dishes and making fucking white people. Just so the fact that if you can't do it, they're going to figure out a way. That's because they're scared sons of bitches. Why are you worried? Nobody gives a damn about race and all that shit so much that we want to destroy people, but racist ass white people. Tell me where in this country where you see black people talking about, you know what? We're just going to have to get together and start having babies so that we can take these white people over. Doesn't happen. Latin people, we got to have babies so we can take these white people over. Doesn't happen. White people, we got to get these babies to take off these brown people over. It happens. Nobody thinks about it but them, but they demonize the most demonized culture in this country. Meaning like there's the devil inside them. It's white people. Not all of you, but you know what the fuck I'm talking about. You don't see black people trying to organize to kill you. You don't see black people organizers trying to demonize white people so that they get unalived by the masses. You don't see any other race doing that but white people. Why? White people have to ask their racist friends and families, why is that fear so strong in you when in history ain't nobody in this country ever did it to anybody but you? What's your fear? All of us are like, there's nothing to fear. We don't want nothing like that. We just want to be happy. Then why is this racist group of people always trying to destroy people's lives? Even white women's lives. They try to destroy your life. And I'm like, how the fuck can you ride with somebody who's literally trying to fuck your life up just because you have a vagina and they've got a dick? That's it. You both are white. Why the fuck are they fucking with you? Wake the fuck up already. They're trying to breed you. Give you money so you can have do you know a baby costs more than $5,000? And as soon as that baby comes into this world, who's going to feed it? Who's going to raise the baby? They just want you to lay down and keep having them. They ain't going to raise them. So what? Now I'm going to give you a job of being back in the house again? There's a reason why the jobs in which women are the majority of, nurses and things of that nature, they're trying to make those non-professions. Which means if it's not a profession, you ain't gonna really make that much money in it. Why pay that much money for it? They are attacking you while sleeping with you. Why do they hate you so much? What's the big fear? I don't understand why those people can never be fucking happy with just being equal with everybody. It's the craziest fucking thing. And like I said, the wimpiest people in this country, in this world, the most not feared of. You ever realize that with all the evil that racist white men do, why is it that black people aren't fearful of them? That scares them. Because all the evil shit they do, we still be like, what you got? They think that whiteness shit is supposed to make us afraid. And that's the part. We got to do evil shit for them to be afraid of us. We got to hang them. We got to sneak up on them and beat them with 17 people on one guy. We got to do something to get them afraid. And our people still survive. That's what scares them. Our people doesn't have that same hate and try to hunt them like they try to hunt us. Scares them. They think we are afraid of them so we won't do the same shit that they're doing to us. No. God built us different. We know we have somebody to answer to. And we won't do what our God tells us not to do. And they will, which tells you they can't be nowhere near God-like. They're demons, pretending to be Christ-like, wearing crosses while killing people with the same cross, terrorizing people with the same cross. How can you be of God when you use God in evil ways? Tells you already, those people are not Christian. They're not of God. They're of Satan. There's no way in hell you can do wrong. That's the reason why black people don't do what white people do to white people. And we never will. Why? Because we follow a much stronger, more powerful thing. We believe in God. Whether you believe in Christianity or Allah, whatever, we believe in God. And that's the person that we deal with. This white supremacy thing, they think they're gods on earth. So they do whatever they want. And they think they go to heaven just as long as they wear a cross and repent. Doesn't work that way. But as long as they believe it does, so be it. Okay? Thank you, 515, for the donation. I appreciate you, brother. So, when you see, in this situation here, Pete Hegseth is unaliving brown people because he can. That's it. There's no fear in the sense of them actually bringing anything to America. That is not a drug that they're worried about. They're rich people that pay them money. They do those drugs. It's fentanyl. That's all they've been talking about, fentanyl, right? Fentanyl. Fentanyl doesn't come from Venezuela, so it doesn't add up. It comes from China, so it doesn't add up. They built the Venezuela part, got these are criminals, these are bad people. Tren de Aragua. You had never heard of Tren de Aragua until Donald Trump came in. Did you hear Tren de Aragua when Biden was president? No. Did you hear of him when Obama was president? No. Did you hear him when Reagan was president? No. We ain't never heard of these damn people. They made a boogeyman out of people. Not the fact that they didn't exist. It's the fact that we made a boogie, not we, Trump, them, racist white men, made a boogeyman out of brown people. And why? Because they've already tried their best to make a boogeyman out of us, black people. And now they're making a boogeyman out of these brown people. They've been setting that up since Donald Trump came down the escalator. They've been going after Latin people left and right. And out of fear, out of stupidity, a lot of Latin people voted for them, thinking that Donald Trump had their back, when in all honesty, he was using you so he can fuck with your culture. You validated him doing the shit to people who look like you. And because he's got those numbers, see, Latin people on my side, so I must be doing something right, suckers, because you are the shield that allows them to do it, because they don't do it to you specifically, even though they are. They did it to them originally. And then when they realized, you know what? There really isn't that many Tren de Aragua in America. I could have told you that. All you had to do is look it up, research it. Tren de Aragua is not in America. This is not their place of choice. America's not. Look it up. We very few Tren de Aragua in this country. They're not a threat. You know who is? White men. Racist white men are a threat in this country. But you're looking over at the brown people. Tren de Aragua is not in this country thick at all. But they got you, Americans, not all of you, MAGAs, to be afraid of a man, right? Or a culture that had nothing to do with doing anything. If they're the ones here selling cocaine or whatever the hell it is, how many of y'all are in the echelon area of being able to buy cocaine or at whim? You know, maybe you could buy small amounts. I don't know. I don't know anything about the drug. But I do know about wealthy people having it in mounds in their homes. I used to work for people that I walk into their house. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Oh, man, a little snow, whatever they called it back then. I'm like, this was in the early 90s. Rich people have that shit in droves. It's like fucking candy to them. Not all of them, just the ones who like to do it, I guess. You think they're going to jail anytime soon? No, they're not. But you're going to get the dude that sold them that amount of drugs, but not the dude who's actually buying it and selling it to his friends, rich friends. Be realistic. Please be realistic. Donald Trump's goal is to get Venezuelan oil. Must be. That's the only thing that's really valuable over there. The most valuable thing over there that Donald Trump, the kind of money that Donald Trump wants coming from that country is not drugs. It's oil. So he wants their resources. I guarantee you this man is doing his best to fuck up this country, that they think that these drugs coming in and out of their country is helping their country. And when these drugs can't keep coming in and out, Donald Trump's going to do a deal. I'll stop bombing your little cocaine thing, whatever you're doing there. I'll stop bombing that. Just give me some of your reserves. Be like, what? Yeah, we just want your reserves. Give me some of that oil. Give me some of that oil. We'll stop the bombing. Give me the oil. I guarantee you that's what Donald Trump is trying to do. This has been a calculated thing. Tren de Aragua, not in America that much. Their drugs are not killing us. Fentanyl is coming from China. He's not fighting China where the drugs are coming in. And remember when Pam Bondi said back in the day, the ridiculous fucking numbers of shit? We're fighting the drugs. We're fighting the drug lords coming bringing stuff in here. And, we saved so many millions of pounds or hundreds of thousands, whatever pills or whatever fuck it is of fentanyl. And that's going to, and she had like 3 different press conferences and this heifer had like 3 different numbers. We done saved 16 million lives. Really? Like 10,000 people die of the drug every year. Where'd you get millions? This heifer started out with like the single or near single digit, early double digits. To the heifer got to the end of it, she was like, we done saved 395 million lives. I'm like, bitch, we only got 340 million in the country. So you don't went to other countries and start saving them too? This heifer is the head of DOJ, and she literally thinks you don't save the whole fucking country would have died off the drug. Like everybody here, plus we done borrowed another 40 million people from some other country and brought them over here and saved them from a drug that they could have died from. How this heifer don't know how to count and she's sitting here the head of something? I wouldn't have this chick selling apples on the side of the street. She would come up short. Talking about 385 or 90 million. We got 340 million people in the fucking country. Boy, this stupid fucking country trying to think that that education is not supposed to have. We don't need it. We don't need it. We just put white people in power and call it merit. There is no threat from Venezuela. None whatsoever. And if you think Donald Trump gives a damn about that country, he don't. He cares about the oil over there. And now that he knows it's kind of shaky because the president is, a tyrant and all this shit like that, but there are a lot of other tyrants. You got the tyrant that he had coming to the White House that killed Khashoggi. He gave him all kinds of opportunities, giving him weapons that he should not have and shit like that. He's cool with him because this dude's giving him money. Venezuela's not giving Donald Trump shit. So that's what they're doing, trying their best to get money out of another country when they're down and out. That's what they're doing. Trust and believe. Right? It's the craziest shit. All right, so I'm going to give you some insight, just a little, just like the military laws of what happened over on these ships. Like this whole process of blowing up these boats is just bogus. It's illegal, right? And I don't care what anybody's saying when they like the politicians are trying their best, the Republicans, and they're trying their best to do it. Donald Trump is trying their best to do it. Even some of these military people are like saying, you know what, we got to figure out exactly. I'm like, you don't believe? I said, and I saw an interview where somebody said, in what scenario would blowing up boats when you don't know if it has drugs on it or anything like that, what scenario would that be good? Would that be legal? They said, not unless it was an actual threat to America. And I'm like, if they're not even, and I didn't say this, I said this not to them, but of course, I said it out loud. I'm saying, like, they're not pointing to America. Obviously not. So they're not a threat to us. So this whole damn kit and caboodle, regardless of the double tap, all of it's illegal. Why would they be in the middle of somebody else's water, international waters, blowing up shit? Nobody has asked them to come there. Surrounding countries are not having a problem with what's going on. They're not bombing anybody. Nobody in those countries asked us to come over there and help them solve their drug problem. Donald Trump and Project 2025 and these minions decided a long time ago, we got to demonize the Venezuelans because we want their oil. We're going to demonize them. We're going to throw them in jail. Plan 2, right? That's the second. We're going to throw them in jail. However, that can last long before they're going to do all the lawsuits and shit like that. Probably get them to let go. That time, we're going to be talking about drugs coming into this country, fentanyl. And we're going to talk about we save all this fentanyl, bullshit like that. Not realizing that nobody even realized it or even said it out loud to say, Trinidad, they're not here that strong at all. What are you talking about? Nobody came and said that. Everybody played the possibility fear. Well, if they're here, well, where they at? Dude, there aren't any. You don't see it. Where's it at? Where's the sign? Where's it? They started telling you, how do you know that they're Trinidad? Right? How do they do it? Tattoos and things like that. Research Trinidad. Just do me a hot favor. Research them and find out how can you tell a Trinidad gang member or whatever they are, or mafia, whatever the hell they are. How can you tell them? Well, one of the first things they'll tell you, they don't have tattoos on purpose so that they're not recognized. They're incognito. So Donald Trump was out here and they were always saying, because they got the tattoos. No, there's no tattoos on Trinidad. They prohibit it. It's not that way. They're not like a gang like that. From what you read about them, they are to be feared in their country, but they're not here. They're not here like that. But these people do not have a sign or a telltale sign that they're Trinidad. So when Donald Trump and his minions was out here lying about tattoos and shit, not a thing. Not a reality. why the news didn't say nothing about that, why the news didn't look that shit up. No, they played along with the bullshit that Donald Trump says. He says so much shit that they run after everything else and didn't come back to just basic common fucking sense. Tren de Aragua. What do they look like? Who they are? Whatever. How would you recognize one? They asked a lot of Trump and his minions and you know, ex-military people and shit like that, and they just didn't know. I'm like, all you do is look it up. And so any like Latin people, so just because you Latin, fuck a tattoo, you automatically a threat. Because there is no deciding factor of that happening. If you don't think that they knew that, you're slow. Of course they knew. Of course they knew that these people didn't have signs or telltale signs. Why? Because they can paint them however the fuck they wanted to paint them so that you're afraid of them. So that America's afraid of them. Not a thing. So you find that out, you'll see. Good night, Walt Mike. Yeah, DJ. He said you could see it stuff on it. You didn't see nothing. You saw a boat with stuff on it, but that you don't know what that stuff is. It's so far up. You can't tell if it's you know, fish they caught. You can't tell if it's you know, fuel that they're taking back and forth, you know, to get fuel to take to another ship or whatever that's run out of fuel. You don't know what it is. You can't tell. And the crazy part about it is usually, like when you blow up stuff, the things that survive, if humans survived, you know, some of those, if they were drugs, would have survived and floated too. So why they want to get rid of everything is because they know these aren't drug boats and they want to blow up everything so you can't tell whether it's drugs or not. It's all blown to smithereens. Oh, looks like drugs to me. Well, did you find out if they're drugs? Does it smell like a drug boat? I mean, do you have any determination? Like, where did you find these people from? Did you see them coming from the shore? From a drug location and driving it to another location? Did you see it? There's no understanding of that. Now, they may tell people in the House, you know, the Senate, the oversight committees and shit like that. But as of now, none of those politicians who've gotten some information, none of them have said that they found out that they know exactly that these are drugs. Right? So you get the actual laws, the Department of Defense, the law of war manual. You'll see some of the things, and this is one of the section 7.5 about humane treatment of enemy, military, wounded, sick, and shipwrecked in the power of a party to the conflict. You'll see this right here. It was updated in 2023, I believe. Says right here, any attempts upon their lives or violence to their persons shall be strictly prohibited. In particular, they shall not be murdered or exterminated or subjected to torture or to biological experiments that shall not fully be left. They shall not willfully be left out without medical assistance and care. Their job was to get them and give them medical care, not unalive them. That's the military. That's the laws of the military. And they did none of those things. They did the complete opposite of those things. Right? Do something here. The complete opposite of those is what they did. Let me see the donation real quick. Being and listening, this is just for the message. Thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't read your messages before. 515. God created white Adam and Eve, and with so much inbreeding, how do we have so many races? God may be real, but the beehive doesn't know how it came into existence. Okay, I got you. Appreciate that. Let's get back to it. You start to realize what Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth are doing. They are throwing the admiral under the bus, and to me, that's a cowardly thing. Cowardly. Why are you doing that to people who literally fought for you? And here's the crazy part, and some people know, not everybody knows, because I was talking to somebody earlier, they didn't know this. The military can't defend itself. They can't say anything. They're prohibited from getting in front of a camera and telling anything. Now, they can go to the oversight committee and speak truthfully under oath. So Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump know that they can own the narrative. So what are they doing? They're out here having long-ass press conferences, because they wouldn't do this on the normal. Long-ass press conferences for what? To control the narrative. Now, they are throwing him under the bus, but keeping it cordial. He's a great guy. He's doing a great job. I wouldn't think, and basically just saying that I know that he's admirable type of person. He wouldn't do this the way y'all saying he would do this. That's putting it all on him. But when you find out this happened the way it happened, and they both know it happened illegally, they look like a united front, and they're supporting their military men and women in this situation. Man. So when they go through the situation and look into it a little bit deeper and get the information, they're going to find out it's illegal. And they're going to try their best to say, I would have never thought he would do something like that. He made the decision on his own. I backed him up. Too bad. Sorry, Admiral. Not necessarily. It ain't no necessarily. It's not the truth. Let's go in with what Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth did today and what they said. Now, mind you, in this press conference they had earlier today, this press gaggle, whatever you want to call it, it was long as fuck, way too long. But the reason why it was this long, of course, Donald Trump likes to run his mouth, or not him, he likes people to, glaze him up a little bit, but it was to protect them. This was the shield. Everybody coming out and trying their best to say, like, this was justifiable. And Marco Rubio came in, like, at the last minute when it's nearly over, before they asked questions. And he said his little bullshit to try and justify what is happening. It's all illegal. And you're going to find out here. And I don't know why they haven't been blowing this shit up. I don't know why they haven't been blowing it up today. I saw it earlier this morning, and I didn't see anybody else talk about it. And I'm like, that's just, I don't know. We'll see it in a second. But here's one part of it, where they kind of like start throwing people under the bus.
You said that you had watched that strike live on television. In real time, did you know that there were survivors after the initial strike?
Now, that question, he said, you said you watched it live on television. This happened in September when it happened. This man was bragging about killing these people back then. So that's what this reporter is asking him. Back then, you said you watched this entire thing. You said I watched it live, meaning you watched the murder, all that, right? Now he's asking him, you said you watched it all. You got to remind you guys, just recently, these people said that it never happened. It wasn't no double tap. It was not. Nope, didn't happen. Don't know anything about it, Donald Trump. Don't know. And then now it's been verified that they did double tap. Now they're trying to come out and say, you'll see in a second. I didn't watch it. I watched some of it. I didn't watch. You'll see. This is what he just asked him. You was all proud about it in September, talking about you watched it all. Look what we did. And now you're like, I didn't see it all. I had a bunch of things to do.
I didn't stick around for the hour and 2 hours, whatever, where all the sensitive site exploitation digitally occurs. So I moved on to my next meeting. A couple of hours later, I learned that commander had made which he had the complete authority to do. And by the way, Admiral Bradley made the correct decision to ultimately sink the boat and eliminate the threat.
They're calling it a threat. How is a person that's sitting there smoldering actually a threat? There's no weapon on them that you know of. They're sitting out there. And here's the part that I found out today. The timing between when they blew it up the first time and they did it the second time to kill the people, it took them a minute to find live bodies. It was over an hour almost from what it was said earlier today. Now, it may shift or anything like that, but that's what they said earlier today. it was like an hour or so between the first one where they blew it up and the second one where they killed the people. So they literally was looking at the roughage and saw that, oh, there's 2 people alive. Bomb them again. Ask Pete Hegseth. Kill them all. Okay. Then he kills them all. And Pete Hegseth said he's never said it. I'm like, well, it's going to be on a record somewhere, bro. You just can't just take it away. When the weapon was let go, if you don't have the weapon, because it's tied to the video in which you shot it, everything's on comms, which is recorded. So if that ends up being like disappeared or not there anymore, then we know you're guilty. Because it ain't going to just up and just delete itself. It didn't just fly away. We'll see. The military will see. But see, they're trying to go with the court of public opinion to get you guys not to be mad at them. I don't trust them as far as their mama can throw them. Okay?
Not personally see survivors, but I stand, because the thing was on fire. It was exploded in fire or smoke. You can't see anything. You got digital. This is called the fog of war. This is what you in the press don't understand.
See, now he's trying to pull rank, like, he's been in the military. You don't understand it. Well, as far as the, you know that he's been in the service and he's been at war from what I hear. But what has that got to do with the fact of these people dying? If you can't see nothing in the fog of war, I can't see it because it's the fog of war. He explains that shit and tries to belittle the media. And he's like, you guys don't understand that. It's like, okay, then how did you see these dead bodies if the fog was still there? How did you see these bodies floating if it's such a fog that you couldn't see it anymore? The fog of war. How did you see them? The fog must have cleared up to some degree, right? Or were you in radar situation where you saw something moving on a radar and you can see through the smoke? I don't know. But what does that have to do with anything, Pete Hegseth? It doesn't. It's like trying to one up somebody and say, this is what I know that you don't know. It's like, well, we know that you killed some people and you shouldn't have. So why'd you do that? Going off on a tangent about what smoke and shit. I respect the fact he was in war, and you know that, and I will never know that. You got that. But at the same time, you unalive people the second time that you should have, based on the code of ethics, the law rather, the military law. You're supposed to give them aid, not unalive them.
President Trump has empowered commanders to do what is necessary.
I watched it live.
And see, what he just did was like President Trump, gave, and I didn't get all of it. We'll go back to the second. What he just did right there was say that President Trump gave orders to his commanders, him and others, to take care of these people, basically, right? To kill them, whatever, to reduce the threat type of thing. And then he told the admirals and other people to do what Donald Trump told them to do. And this guy, the admiral, I guess Bradley, went rogue. He didn't say, he was just, he had the right to do it. But if he broke the law, he went rogue on it. I didn't permission. I didn't have to give him permission. I gave him permission to do what he had to do. That second one, the double tap, it was on him. I was nowhere near watching it. If you believe that again, I can turn white right now. Just say the word. I'll turn into a white guy. Because there's no fucking way it's going to happen. I'm too damn dark, and I'm not half alien in that shit. But this dude wants you to believe that's a reality. That he sat around that first time telling all his friends and texting everybody, we dropping bombs all over the place. You all that amped and excited about murder and watching it that first time you did it. That this time you watched half of it. Man, shut the fuck up. And then when they found more people, he's just going to unalive them without asking the people in command. Everybody didn't die. What do you want me to do? Kill them all. Somebody witnessed him saying that, told the paper about it. And now all of a sudden Pete Hegseth said this, I just can't remember. Get him under oath and ask him if he said it. This way, if he lies under oath, the same thing they're trying to do with Jim Comey, it's time for him to go to jail as soon as he leaves. So get him under oath with the quickness and ask him that question. See what he says. No evasion. Don't be like, I can't remember. So you got to remember. It's either yes or no. And he's going to try his best to say, I don't know. I don't remember. How do you not remember something? You weren't there. Oh, you weren't there. Thank you. Then bring the tapes in. Your voice just told him to do it, didn't it? Yep. Well, then take him out. Take him out. And I ain't talking about kill him, just take him out, put him in jail. I can't wait to see that day. But he's trying his best to blame everybody. But this right here is the video of this man literally saying, because he's saying here in this video, I wasn't there. I didn't see it all. I got work to do. I'm busy. You can understand I'm busy. I watched it blow up and fire, blah, blah, blah. And then I had to go to a meeting. I had to rush off. Yeah. You just got a super rush of killing people, because he does. Gets a rush and shit. And you all super amped about these people just got killed. And ooh, look at it. And you just said, okay, straighten up my tie. It's time to go to another meeting. Bullshit. You was high as hell out there. You probably took a drink or two. Quit lying that you just stopped and went to another. Nobody believes you are that professional, bro, that you're going to watch that and decide to go and leave. Nope. You were amped, because you can see how excited you are on the news when you're talking about this shit.
It live. We knew exactly who was in that boat.
Do what is necessary.
I watched it live.
We
knew exactly who was in that boat. We knew exactly what they were doing, and we knew exactly who they represented. And that was Tren de Aragua, a narco-terrorist organization designated by the United States, trying to poison our country with illicit drugs.
Designated by the United States. When did the United States say that Tren de Aragua was anything to us? Tren de Aragua did not become a thing under Biden. As soon as Donald Trump comes in, all of a sudden we have this criminal going against us. It's like, who is Tren de Aragua again? And America just somehow bit into this shit. Like, nice apple. It's poisonous, because there's no Tren de Aragua that we're worried about. How many of you guys have seen a Tren de Aragua sign in your community? Near your community, going downtown and in the poorer sides of town. When have you drove by and saw, I know in LA, I don't know of a Tren de Aragua. I know all these different other gangs, but not their Tren de Aragua. Not to say they don't exist. I'm just saying, if they did, they would be just as big as these gangs that we've grown up and known about that are huge, right? Even the mafia gangs. But what movie have you heard Tren de Aragua made out of? What anything that you've heard about this particular thing before Donald Trump. So the boogeyman just came up and became the head mafioso gang that you got to worry about, but you never heard about him. But all these gangs in America that you should be afraid of, that you can't even wear certain colors around, they're nobodies. They're nobodies because they don't own any oil. They don't own anything but drugs and crime. Over there, they got oil. That's why they became the big issue. They weren't a big issue before. So they made them a big issue. And then you got Pete Hegseth talking about designated. You listen to the language. Listen again. Listen to the language he's saying. Nobody else is designating these people as what they're saying. America designated it. It wasn't Biden. It wasn't Obama. It wasn't Trump the first time. It wasn't anybody else. It was Donald Trump and his minions, this presidency, that made you afraid of some Latin gang you never heard of. So much so that you got to go and bomb and kill them in their own waters, even though they're not in America. Hardly at all. They're not a big thing in America. And you don't have to do nothing but look that shit up and find it out for yourself. Donald Trump and his minions in Project 25 made up a fear of one gang, that you more likely will get harmed by a gang in your community than you ever even heard of this one. Right? They demonize them so much that it has given them access to go and kill Venezuelan people and people of color without due process. See, they did it here, kick people out of the country without due process. The country didn't go mad. They had people going in laws and things, had people going to court trying to get these people out, and we were angry, we were marching and stuff like that. But MAGA was still sticking with Donald Trump through it all. We love Donald Trump, so they knew that their crew wasn't falling off. So now we could take it to the next step. And that's when they went over to Venezuela and started killing people on boats. What's the next step? Because this ain't the end. So he's starting to bring more military services over there. Then they even said that they can't even find any more boats. They've been blowing them out of the water. We got you guys safe. We can't barely find any boats. Some of these boats were fishing boats. They killed innocent people and they know it and care less. Still pushing the narrative that it's drugs and this, that, and the third. These boats are so fucking small. You could have pulled up on them with a bigger boat, get off the boat, render the drugs, and arrested them all. But why kill them? They didn't pose a threat to you. What are they going to do? Throw cocaine on you and kill you? Get the fuck out of here. You didn't see any weapons. They didn't have no fucking, on those small boats, they ain't got no missiles that can fuck with you. So how are they a threat to you? Just being brown in a boat and possibly drugs is a threat. That's some wimp shit. Militaries are not wimps. So how the hell we wimpifying out? Seeing shit through wimpy ass white people's view. Like, oh, they could probably hurt me. I'm like, dude, you're the military. These people ain't got shit on you. You're like a superhero, and they ain't even a super villain. They're just like the innocent bystander. Not that they're innocent, but they're just sitting there. They don't know you coming. They ain't prepared for you. So they don't have military gear on, so they're not in a war of yours. But you're in a military uniform killing civilians that aren't at war with you. They made a war up, ladies and gentlemen. We're not at war with them in any way, shape, or form. Donald Trump has made up this fictional war to be over there to begin with. And why our House and Senate are saying, bring your ass back, bro. We are equal parts of the government. 2 against 1. You can't just go and start a war whatever the fuck you want, dude. We're not at war. How are you paying for this? We haven't given you money for this. That should be illegal within itself. It's crazy.
They represented, and that was Tren de Aragua, a narco-terrorist organization designated by the United States trying to poison our country with illicit drugs.
I did not personally see survivors, but I stand, because the thing was on fire. It was exploded and fire, smoke, you can't see anything, you got digital. This is called the fog of war.
Something you'll never know about. So here they are pretending like they don't know what's going on, right? So just by what they're doing, you had a judge, what's his name? Napolitano. He used to be on Fox a lot. I don't know if he still is. I don't watch Fox at all, pretty much. But on this one, he's on News Nation or News Max, I believe. And he always comes through when Republicans are in a very like unwinnable kind of way. He comes out and kind of like sides with the facts. But when it's like MAGA, like I don't know what his justification is to come to logic, but there are times when he comes to logic for some reason. I guess he can't bullshit his way out of illogic or whatever the fuck it is. But you'll hear it, what he has to say here.
It gives me no pleasure to say what I'm about to say because I worked with Pete Hegseth for 7 or 8 years at Fox News. This is an act of a war crime, ordering survivors who the law requires be rescued instead to be murdered. There's absolutely no legal basis for it. Everybody along the line who did it, from the Secretary of Defense to the Admiral to the people who actually pulled the trigger, should be prosecuted for a war crime for killing these 2 people.
What did the 6 representatives and senators say? What did they say that Stephen A. still doesn't get? What did they say? They literally said, don't break any laws, any illegal orders. Do not do them. Now, they said this after these guys had done it. It happened in September. And like I told you, these military men and women are calculating. And the reason why is because they're trained that way. They're trained that way. And so for them to be, that's how they can save their lives in the midst of shit, midst of hell. They're trained to be very strategic. And so when all of these 6 military men and women who are now representatives or senators came out to watch the 6 of their brothers and sisters and said, basically don't commit any more of these damn crimes that are illegal. They didn't tell them not anymore, but that's pretty much what they're trying to say, is that if you see something illegal, you know damn well you're not supposed to be doing it. It's too late for this Admiral Bradley, or whatever his name is. It's too late for him. And not just for him, Admiral Bradley and the young lady or young man that pulled that trigger. The other one who was holding, I don't know if it takes how many people it takes to man these things or to launch these things, but everybody in the process that had their hand on killing these people. Now they've killed 82 people. You don't think all that's going to happen? This goes back, I think I forgot the guy's name, but there's a military man that was put to death, or at least it was like in the 30s or 40s or something like that. He was put to death, ordered to put to death, because he killed 300 and something like combatants or whatever the fuck it was, but they were innocent people. He killed 300 something, and everybody in the process of killing them all were charged with it. I gotta look up that person's name. Maybe you know it, and I don't, but I gotta look that person up. But they just came to the top of mind. I wasn't prepared for it, so I would have had the name if I did. But I heard it earlier today, so I'll bring that to you if you don't know it already, probably tomorrow. But it's against the law, and military men and women know this. The idea that the admiral followed through, and now they're trying to say he did it on his own without getting permission from his superiors, that makes it worse for him, because they're really throwing him under the bus. I, for one, I don't know the truth, but my gut feeling tells me Pete Hegseth told them to kill them all. And he watched it happen, got a high off of it, probably got drunk, then went out and told everybody about it and was excited about it. Because their goal is to kill these people to begin with. It was never about drugs. It was about controlling these people. They've been wanting to take over this Trinidad Aragua, this country. They've been wanting to take over Venezuela. I don't know. Like, again, the only thing I can think of is that they're one of the richest countries in oil, and Donald Trump and his people want money and power, and this is it. And this is the country they feel that is weak enough right now that they could fuck with. They would never do this to China. So you'll get to see that this is not, like I told you, this is not a bug. This is a feature. To kill these men and women. I don't know if there's women on the boat. They don't know if it's women or children. They just all saying men. Could have been women or children. They don't know. But Pete Hegseth has said, we knew exactly who's on the boat. We knew exactly what they were doing. It's like he knew exactly everything. And then they killed him because they knew it all. And they said they had the drugs on there and fentanyl. They don't have fentanyl in the country. But the drugs of choice. They kept backing out of it. They said it was all fentanyl at first. Now it's like, selective drugs. It's like, so you're a war on all drugs, but the people who are paying you do cocaine. That don't make any sense. So anyway, Donald Trump has I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know anything about it. Pete Hegseth, this guy, he said he was, he didn't do it, and I believe him. And I hear that this admiral is a really good guy, so I wouldn't believe he'd do anything wrong. So I kind of got his back. Pete Hegseth, just like Donald Trump said, you know what I'm saying? He gave me the power and all stuff like that, but I didn't stick around to see it. So I was gone on my meeting, and I came back and I found out, and, rightfully so, we got his back, blah, 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 blah. But it's him that did it, not me. But I give him the right to do it, and I stand behind him. Okay, so now it's on Admiral back, but they know Admiral can't speak. So all this time that's going on, it keeps going on, days that keep going on, he's guilty. He's guilty because he can't speak, and nobody can speak for him. He's guilty. He's getting guiltier by the day when they start to find out more, because Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth know that it's illegal what they're doing. And I got proof, and that's why I say I don't know why they put it out there today, that somebody that rode beside Trump in 2018 knew that this was illegal, and so did Donald Trump. His first presidency, Donald Trump found out what he's doing right now was illegal. Pete Hegseth either knows it or too stupid to know it. And that's what Donald Trump wanted. A bunch of sycophants that don't know the law. to do the dirt work for him. The military men and women should have known. But now they're caught up in it. And because of what they did to put our military men and women into this type of situation, Pete Hegseth needs to be impeached or kicked out of his position, charged for a crime alongside these men and women. And Donald Trump needs to be kicked out of being a president. They need to impeach him both times, House and Senate, and kick his ass out. Because if he can do this to military men and women that he's supposed to be protecting, he's not going to stop. By the end of his presidency, there's going to be a lot of military people going to jail or not doing the job, in which he'll try and jail them for being insubordinate. Like he's trying to get Mark, I can't remember his name for somebody. I was going to say Esper, but they're trying to get him. Mark Kelly. Trying to get Mark Kelly. If they don't do what he asked them to do, they're literally going to say, I was doing stuff that was legal and you didn't do a legal order? Oh, you're going to jail. Causing hell for them either way. Donald Trump has to go. Doing this to military men and women, breaking the law just for the hell of it, and then making it seem like throwing him under the bus. This man has no honor and he doesn't love America. He's trying to get shit out of America. He doesn't care about it. And MAGA, Republicans, leaders, the Democrat leaders, y'all need to be working on that. Something together to get this man out. You need to put a dagger in Project 2025. It should be over. Done. This is enemy of the state shit. And if you don't recognize it, democracy is going to be dead when you do. At some point in time, I don't care if this was a Democrat, Republican, or independent, there is and should be a threshold to realize something the fuck is wrong. And if you're not benefiting the country, that's what you're there for. It's supposed to lead us to a better America, not destroy America because of your crazy ideals. Give people some leeway. But when it gets to the point of destroying what this whole experiment so that this person can get what they want, breaking laws, throwing our military under the bus, making them do criminal shit, and they're not recognizing it as illegal, and Donald Trump is trying to tell them, because I say it's legal, it's legal. This right here proves the point. Donald Trump knew. Pete Hegseth should know. Stephen Miller knew that what they're doing right now, I ain't even talking about the double tap, just killing these Latin people, Venezuelan people on boats, was illegal. Still is illegal. And why are we sitting here fighting and trying to figure it out for some reason? Even military people talking now, I don't get it. I'm like, dude, how is it that in 2018, our military men and women knew that this was illegal? This whole plot was illegal. And now we don't? Check it out.
I didn't know about the second strike. I didn't know anything about people. I wasn't involved in it. I knew they took out a boat. But I would say this, they had a strike. I hear the gentleman that was in charge of that is extraordinary.
He said he knew they took out a boat already, that he's already incorporated himself into an illegal act. Them blowing up these boats, and he know it, and he's giving an order. He gave an illegal order. He knew it. Pete Hegseth should know it. Stephen Miller damn sure knows it, but they're doing it anyway. So Donald Trump is really, if we get the Democrats in office in the House and the Senate, we can get him out. We can get him out. That's the first thing they should work on. We got to give them the House and the Senate. You got to get out there and do it. Because this right here, this what you're about to see right now, blows it out the water.
We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters.
He's literally saying stupid rules of engagement. Our engagements are stupid? They're literally telling you he's telling you right here, I'm not going to follow the law. Because the rules of engagement is the military law. The way they do shit is the military law. He's saying he's going to untie your hands so that you can continue to do shit, murder people and do whatever you want, just whenever you want. It's under our rule. Nobody can tell you anything different. We don't have to pay attention to the judges. We don't have to pay attention to anybody else. Donald Trump makes the decision, and therefore you must do it. He is the man that makes the law. House and the Senate, be damned. Supreme Court, in my pocket. You do as I say. That's what he's saying right here. He knew what he was doing was illegal. And now he's like, I didn't do anything. But you just said you was going to release it so they can do whatever you want them to do. No more hands tied by these laws of the government, of the military.
Also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country.
Look at them.
No more politically correct and overbearing rules of engagement. Just common sense, maximum lethality, and authority for warfighters.
Maximum lethality. He's still saying that. And that is basically saying we just going to kill people. Maximum. Not like, we're going to arrest people and get them out. No, we're going to kill you. He knew that's what they were going to do. So it runs in line with him being asked, what should you do? And he says, kill them all. Maximum lethality. Kill them all. But he's saying now, I didn't say kill them all. I wasn't even there. But that's your speech to them. Maximum lethality. That runs with your whole spiel. So now it doesn't run with your spiel?
Authority for warfighters.
I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them.
See? Look at it. We're just going to kill them. We're not going to arrest them. We're not going to do anything like that. Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, maximum lethality, October 23rd, this man said, we're just going to kill them. We're just going to kill them. That's all we're going to do. They're taking our country. We're going to kill them. How do you know they got drugs at all? We're just going to kill them. Then we'll find the drugs, I guess.
They're going to be like dead.
You have been warning that Trump's team.
Okay, now this is the part that you should know about. Miles Taylor worked alongside Donald Trump. He was working on their first administration in 2018. This right here is the bombshell that should be on every news station about what he has to say, that he witnessed with his own eyes.
Was laying the groundwork for something like this. Unpack that for us.
Well, Anna, I mean, these strikes are premeditated. They have been years and years in the making. And I will say, I know that they are illegal strikes, not just the second strike, but the entire operation, because we told the White House that this type of thing would be illegal all the way back in 2018. In fact, we were so worried about how Donald Trump was going to try to mismanage the war on drugs that we flew him down to Key West to one of the key counter-drug operation centers to explain to the president how drugs were actually smuggled into the country and the ways that were effective and not effective in going after some of these drug boats. On the flight back, I'll never forget, one of Trump's top advisors, Stephen Miller, started asking us if the president, under international law, could blow up boats, whether with migrants or other unarmed combatants, legally. And the answer back to him was no, that's not legal for the president to do. It's obviously not legal to do under international law. And that's why, Anna, I would say the responsibility here, yes, partly rests with U.S. Special Operation Command, partly with the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, but it goes all the way to the top because this program was reportedly authorized by the President of the United States, who should have known and whose White House aides should have known that this entire thing is not legal because these are not enemy combatants on a battlefield. They are criminals who should be arrested.
Okay. All right. So Miles Taylor just told us that Donald Trump wanted to do this in 2018. Remember, Mark Esper said he wanted to shoot American citizens who were protesters because he didn't like the fact that they were there. He wanted to shoot them and harm them. Don't kill them, but shoot them and harm them. All right. This rides along with the same ideology where as Donald Trump and his little henchman, short Napoleon Hitler Jr., being Stephen, not Hitler, I give him Nazi, but Stephen Miller, they had to take Donald Trump to a location so that he could see how drugs are brought into the country in ways that they can be able to stop drugs from the country. And that was it. So Donald Trump comes up with an idea of just killing them. And Stephen Miller goes, as a lackey always does, goes to the people, the head people, and say, if Donald Trump, under international law, could blow up the ships and kill them, would that be legal? And they were told, Stephen Miller and Donald Trump in 2018, that what they're doing now would not be legal. Donald Trump wanted to do this in 2018 and was told by military men and women, by law of the people, lawyers in that time and frame of that, for that happening, that they could not do that under international law or any law whatsoever. It would be illegal. And now Donald Trump is saying, "Oh, I don't know. I mean, in order to kill people, I don't know. I didn't know nothing about." You have been planning this for years, bro. That's what Project 2025 has incorporated. You guys been wanting to do this forever. Now think about this for a hot second. Donald Trump wanted to shoot American citizens in the legs for protesting. Now he's got military people in many states throughout the United States policing American citizens because there's supposedly crime in every state. That's going to always be. So we're going to have military in every state forever? Crime is not going away. Crime is about opportunity. Crime is about wealth gap. The way you get rid of crime is you start building like economic centers in each community so that, or getting industries to come so that people get living wage jobs. That's how you lower crime. You don't lower crime by just arresting people or shooting them or killing them or whatever. That's not lowering crime. That's just halting it until they get out of jail and they start committing more crimes, because once you get into a system of crime, that's the only way you can live. Who's going to hire somebody who went to jail 2 or 3 times? Very few people. So criming becomes a way of life. And so what? You're going to keep putting a person in jail and jail and jail and jail and jail just for your fucking like complex of getting money off of poor people? Yeah, you'll do that. But the reality is you don't stop crime this way. Not at all. But these people think it is. Oh, it's gonna do. No, no. What you do is get people to chill out and try to figure out a plan to get around you. You threw a kink in their plan, these criminals. You are in a certain place. Now, once they start to figure out how you roll and a strategy that you may have, the crimes are going to start criming somewhere else where you guys aren't. And then when you start moving over there, the crime's going to move back over here until they figure you out. You don't stop criminals by policing. That's just not how it is. They're not going to stop. That's why people go to jail and come back out. You got to rehabilitate these people in some way, shape, or form. You got to put economics in the situation in some way, shape, or form. They should be able to get a nice job and be able to buy a home with the job they get. Then they wouldn't have to get on the street and sell shit and make $1,000 in a week or a day doing dirt. If you can figure out so people can do that with a good job, you eliminate the bullshit. But you don't want to eliminate it because you're not trying to stop drugs from coming into the country. All these rich people, the biggest drug dealers in America are rich white men. Hello. For all these drugs in this country, you think it's just the little drug dealers on the street? The ones living in the mansion in Beverly Hills, whatever? No, it's those dudes you don't fucking know. How do you think they're getting this shit in the country in tonnage? You think a person that's a regular ass millionaire living in Beverly Hills gonna bring in tonnage of shit? No. Billionaires are bringing this shit in. It's connected to so many people that you probably never seen before. They're money hungry. You think they're gonna look at drugs and say, no, I don't want no part of that. Of course not. They do cocaine by the poundage. You think they aren't going to invest in knowing that all their rich people, when they go out and party, they snorting this shit? Of course they're making money off of it. That's what they do. They want to make money. That's the easiest way to make money. You think they care about people? That they don't want people to be dying off of drugs? They're literally blowing people off of boats. They don't even know who the hell it is. You think they care about life? Of course they don't. This is all about money. You think Donald Trump really cares about getting rid of drugs in this country? Please. So when you look at it, you just heard Miles Taylor say Donald Trump in 2018 asked the military, was it okay? Was it legal? And he had, through Miller, he asked them, could Donald Trump do A, B, or C, whatever? And they said, no, it's illegal. And what Donald Trump and Project 2025 has done, they've gone in and they've fired all the people who would tell them that it's illegal and hired sycophants that would tell them it's okay. And now Donald Trump is doing what's illegal that he has deemed legal, and nobody else is going to hold him accountable. Supreme Court gave him this. And here's the thing. I don't have any facts about this one. But you can't tell me that Donald Trump knew that he had to have immunity in order to be able to pull this off. And that the Supreme Court justices, the MAGA, didn't vote it to be possible just for the fuck of it. They knew Donald Trump was going to do something illegal. The billionaires had them on their their list and said, "Hey, look, give Donald Trump this, give the presidency this, go ahead, give it to him," because now they already planned for 50 years. They've been planning all kinds of shit. Finally, Project 2025, and it's like, I don't know, fifth or sixth version is coming to fruition. It just ain't happening by happenstance. This shit is all plotted and planned out. So when Democrats get in, you guys need to start thinking also about impeaching some of these Supreme Court justices. I got at least 3 that I believe needs to go. Because if you're going to accept money and do all this shit, they need to be impeached. If you can impeach them, I don't know. But if you can, we got to clean out house. Because this is ridiculous that this plan has been going on and our Supreme Court people got in on it. MAGA got in on it. The sycophants around him got in on it to break these laws because the end goal was to try and make money off these other countries and take over other countries and shit. No. America needs to wake up, hold these people accountable, and all these people should be tried and put in jail for the shit they're doing. If you don't see it, you're trying to be blind to it on purpose. Because if these were any other race, if you saw Latin men doing what these white men are doing, if you saw black men doing what Donald Trump and others are doing, you would want them court-martialed. President Obama didn't do none of this shit, and many Americans out here wanted President Obama arrested just because you thought he was doing more for black people than he was doing for white people. None of that shit was real. Doing anything for black people was doing too much for black people. That's what the big deal was. That's why he got, a lot of people started to hate Obama. Obama gave y'all health care. He actually cared about you. Your hate could not see the love he had for you. That was his mom going through health care, and that was the thing he wanted for the American people. And you guys hated a man so much that you put in a racist piece of shit and decided that you were going to allow him to fuck up the country because you thought he was better than a black man. And the reality is, President Obama has more intellect in the tip of his penis than Donald Trump has in his body. So anyway, I appreciate y'all. One more thing before we go. I wanted to bring out, and this is right here to tell you how much Donald Trump, his intellect is terrible. But listen to this real quick. I want you to listen to this shit. This man, remember when Donald Trump said, you know what? I won on this thing called groceries. Who would have thought a thing like that? A word like groceries. Like, this man had never heard the word groceries. This is the dude you wanted to be president, a man who had no idea what groceries were. He wasn't like, had a, brain fart moment. No, this man literally had no idea that groceries was an actual fucking word. Then other times he said stuff that we looked at and be like, dude, that word's, on his campaign, he said something, I forgot what the word was, but he's saying something, it's like, I was looking at this word. And did you know, if you read it backwards, it says, something. It's something stupid, like, it says America or USA or some shit like that. I'm like, we knew that shit since we was kids. The fuck is this dude talking about? I got to figure out what the word is because he had it backwards. And he's like, you know, it really says this or that. Did you guys know that? Like, he came up with something. I just figured that out. I'm like, bruh. Well, I forgot what that word was, but I'll try and find it out. I promise you. I did a video on it back in the day, Trump Whisper Translating Stupid. But listen to Donald Trump and this word affordability. This fool legitimately doesn't think it's a word. Us in USA.
There's this fake narrative that the Democrats talk about, affordability. They just say the word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. You just say it. The word affordability is a Democrat scam.
Tennessee, the guy won. But he literally said, just say the word affordability. Like, it's not a word. It's a scam, a hoax. The word affordability. I'm like, they made it up. He said Democrats made it up. It's a hoax. It's a scam, a Democrat scam. No, sir. Affordability is an actual fucking word, okay? Ability to afford, inexpensiveness, the cost or price of something. Affordability is a fucking word, you nitwit. I'm telling you, this is how stupid this dude is. And we're sitting here like, oh my God, he's smart. The Republicans believe MAGA. He's smart. You can't be like him. I'm like, dude, Jesus Christ. This man rolls on the back of idiots. Racist, homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic idiots. Did not know affordability is a word, y'all. Doesn't know groceries, doesn't know affordability. I think DJ got it right. I think he said US. He said, you know there was us in USA? Oh, Jesus Christ. Yep. That's it. That's what we got going on here, ladies and gentlemen. We got a president that's a numbskull, and we got a bunch of people allowing it to happen. I don't know how we get out of that, but I do know we got 17 more days until the Epstein files are released. And that's going, and you know they're going to try and redact the hell out of it if they haven't already done it. But hopefully, with enough skills of being able to understand things and context of things and listening to people who may know shit, we'll find out which one is Trump. But we'll see. I don't know if it's going to be immediately released to the people, but as soon as I find out, you'll find out. And hopefully you find out before me. You'll let me know how it's going to come out. As soon as I see it, hopefully it's going to come out on that date. You know how they are. Well, we're going to prolong it for another 2 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. Next month, and then next thing you know, it'd be his end of his presidency. It's coming out. Like, yeah, whatever, bro. But we got to hope that that happens. Say thank you guys for a great night as always. I appreciate you. You guys talking to one another, keeping it positive. Thank you, Follow on Fire. From what I've seen, you took care of a lot of people in here. Check my text after a live show. Okay, I will. I'll check it. Most definitely. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the memberships that you took care of 20 people. Much respect, much love for that. So we're going to continue going on, doing our thing. I'll be back here tomorrow around the same time. Learning more. I'm going to keep on learning some more tonight, get some of these people's names that I kind of forgot today. Then especially if it wasn't the USA thing, I know Donald Trump did some other stuff that he didn't know the words to. And I'm like, they want an idiot as a president because he reminds them of themselves. We got to fix that. So you guys have a great night. Much love to you. I'll see you tomorrow, same time. And much love. I'll see you when I see you.